Well, hello everyone. How are you this morning? And isn't this a weird looking setup? You never know what I'm going to do next, do you? Well, sometimes I don't either. But remember, I told you that I was from early on that I was going to put a second layer of batting on this before I put the back fabric on. And so I was fortunate enough to run across some more scrap batting pieces and these are bigger. Some of them are odd shaped, but I'm going to piece them on the back of this quilt and use the scrap batting as the second layer of batting in this quilt because I wanted it to be a little thicker. And this is a pretty thin batting, as you can see. It's I think it's the same batting that I had on this original one because it sure, looks like it. And it was nice to sew through. But it's very, very lightweight. So I wanted two layers of it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to baste this onto the original quilt top. But this basting will be permanent. It will stay in the quilt. And then at the end, as I also mentioned, I will tie this quilt to connect all the layers together. The front is quilted. I don't need to quilt anymore. I just need to get everything uh, nice and strongly connected. And to do that, I will tie the quilt in the end. But to get the two batting layers together, I'm going to baste them. I have this thread right here that I haven't found a use for, and I thought, okay, I'm going to use this. I'm going to double it and just baste with it. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to run my hand under here because I don't really want to go through to the other side. I want to go through the batting, but not the actual quilt top. And I can feel from the underneath side whether I'm getting through to the front side. Get this where I can hold it better. I could probably do this flat. Could try it that way too. Let's see which one's better. I could probably tell if I was in the, yeah, I think I could tell if I'm in the, just in the batting or in both. Let me look from the other side and see if anything is coming through. Right here, along this side. Nope, it's not. That's good. Yet it is. Let's see. Let's take this pin out. Yes, it's well connected. Okay, that's all going to work well. So let's just continue to do it like that. Just do it carefully. And kind of feel your way along and keep it in the batting. Doesn't have to be tiny stitches. It's more of a basting, but it will be permanent. I'm going to leave it in, and it will stay strong and keep the batting in place. Keep it fairly close to the edge so that we don't have batting curling up. I saw my grandmother do this one time, many years ago. I didn't know why exactly, but I guess she wanted a thicker quilt too. but she did put a double layer of batting with scraps. If you have a full new, batting to work with and you didn't want to do it this way, that would be okay too. All right. How about that? That looks pretty good, don't it? Okay. We're going to have to fold up this quilt some and flip. Be a lot of flipping going on here because I don't sew in different directions very well. I think I will take a stitch down about that length and then come back across. Take I did pin it because I do want it nice and straight. I don't want a bunch of puckers that you can feel because the batting's wadded up. So this will keep that from happening. Do it close enough to keep the batting down well. Plus again, remember, it will be tied at the end. So also the tie will come through both layers of batting and connect them again in another way. So plenty of stitching, plenty of strength in what we're doing here for this quilt. Better tie this one off. And I will be getting a longer section of thread next time. Okay. What I will be doing is I will be piecing around these different pieces that I have until I've covered the entire backing. When I'm finished with some, hopefully, excess on the outside to make sure that I have plenty of batting when I get ready to cut, trim, and bind the quilt. Well, all right, let's get another section going here. Get a longer piece of thread going here. I could use quilting thread, but quilting thread's pretty expensive, and I have this thread, so if I double it, I think it's just fine for what I'm doing here. Okay. All right. I'm not going to worry about burying ends or anything like that. All this is going to be covered. Let's see. I need to come up and over. Oh, getting too wide. Let's close it back down again. I'll have valleys and hills in this basting, won't I? We'll call it a creative touch. There we go. turn it again. I wanted to start this before the quilt got any bigger than it is right now and get some of this worked in, and so that I won't have so much quilt to work with when I'm basting. Kind of reminds you just plain hand quilting, doesn't it? Except the stitches are a lot bigger. A lot bigger. Okay. So I wanted to show you, now when you determine it's time to do this, or if you're going to wait and do the whole thing, when you're with one piece, however you decide to do yours is fine. And also, you may not be doing a double layer batting, but I wanted to show those of you who have scrap batting that, again, we can use these scraps. We don't have to chunk them. We can make them work for us. If that's all you had and you wanted to make this quilt, you'd find a way to make it, wouldn't you? And make it work. And so that's what we want to remember. Let's make these scraps, whatever we're working with, work for us. Let's take these out. And I better tie that off while I got some thread here. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to do this off camera, this batting part here, and then I'll come back and show you when I've got more done on that. But meanwhile, I have added 2 sides to this quilt. This one, I've got this one corner down here to attach, and this one. So I wanted to work on getting my sashing piece. Excuse me, I just knocked you all over the place. Okay, hope you're back in focus. Work on getting my sashing pinned on so that I don't put any extra tug on these seams before I get them reinforced with the strips here. So let me start on that. Take off a few of these extra threads here we don't need. Okay. Bring my Okay, what do we have here to work with? This is very stringy, isn't it? This is an offcut from a quilting friend of mine who has a die cutting system for her quilt shapes. She likes to English paper piece, and she has these little, after it comes out of the die cutter, all these strange looking strippy things connected in all these different ways, but just a little bit of time, a little bit of care, all these little scraps can be worked with. Okay, don't throw them away. Let's take this one down through the center of that. Looks good. Save all your scrappy threads, put them in your thread tub. We'll figure out a good project for those. Got a side seam right here that we better take care of before we cover it up. Okay, got a piece. One lady messaged me and she said, I don't know if I can handle those raw edges. She said, I've already itching from stress just thinking about it. And but she said, I want to try it. I want to get out of my mold. I want to get out of doing things just one way. And she said, I want to try more things and be more adventurous. So I was real proud of her, but I couldn't help but giggle a little bit about that. And because for some people, I do realize it's very difficult to work really, really scrappy. But as you can see, they're making a beautiful quilt. And the trick in it is just make sure that you stitch it well. That's all. Just stitch it well. You may need to put a couple of extra stitches than you normally would in it, but that's okay. You know, why not? Let's see if this one will. Come on, strip. I know you're in there. This. Let's just double hem. Whoops, stay over there. I was trying to move position, but I'm not going to let it. Okay, get off here. That black inside of that teal gonna look pretty. Don't shortcut yourself on this quilt either. Another comment that I had was, it's too many pieces, I'll never get done. Well, you can see that I started this in November, and you can see how far I'm getting, and it's not the only project I'm working on. So yeah, just keep at it. It'll get done. Don't shortcut yourself, because all these pieces is what is making this quilt beautiful. It's not me, it's all the scrappy pieces playing together nicely. Okay, I gotta pin that the other direction because I gotta bring this other one down. Okay, what's going on here next? Let's see what we can do here. Where did that piece go? There it was. I had a long strip here, a pretty yellow, and I thought, well, I'm gonna use that. Okay, that's gonna look pretty. Pretty, 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 pretty. Go on top of that, go on top of that. Let the black come down over it. Now we can position this one center stage. What do we want to put on there? I've got a bucket of scraps next to me here. That's what I'm rummaging through, if you're wondering what I'm doing. I'm looking through this bucket, and I do mean it's a tall, but actually it's a trash can. A tall kitchen-sized trash can. It's full of scraps. Okay, now we're going to do something right there with a piece of this purple that I've got here that just is begging for a home. I'll put him right there, which is going to overlap this section. This is a selvage, even got the little holes where you can see it's a selvage. Now we'll run this one down. Okay, it's a long piece of yellow, so I do need to break it up a little bit. I think what I will do is play with this around here. Let that run through there like that, maybe. Or should I do it down more? Something like that might work. Remember, I've said all along, we don't want our sashing so obvious that we can just pick out sashing really quickly. Want it to be a little bit unobvious. Does that make sense? Unobvious. Which I'm going to throw this one across here or across here. I think I will do it across there because that really works good there and covers that little junction right there. I'm not going to let it go that far on the point. That's plenty far enough. Now I'm going to clean this up just a little bit. Helps to cut straight. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle that one a little bit. There you go. I love this part. I just love putting the pieces together. Aren't they gorgeous? This crazy piece here. I don't want all this fringy edge, but I could take a little piece of this. Just make a square out of it. Or close to a square anyway. And stick a square in the middle of that. And that breaks that up really well. Whoops. Gotta get that out of there. Okay, that's breaking up good. The red is bugging me. Too much red. Let's see what I got up here. Don't worry about how many layers you got. As long as you can get a needle through it, you're okay. All right. We broke up the red. Red is there, but it's not that strong anymore. All right, let's go down a little bit more. Trying to work in a small area under a camera view. That's challenging in itself. Okay, here's a piece of fabric that's kind of interesting. I don't want all this white. So let's just cut that off. Okay. We will trim up some of these little threads over here. Go down to a smaller piece. I think I'll let the yellow be dominant on that. Okay. Can you see what I'm doing here, I hope? Whoops, we have another section we need to take care of before we cover it up. Let's look for some more scraps down in here. What we got down in here? My scraps. Come on, blue. I see a blue scrap, but I'm pulling on it and it's coming forever. Let's see where the end of this is. Now, if you ever wanted to see a scrap, that's a scrap, isn't it? But, you know what? Lots of good pieces in here. All kinds of shapes and sizes. I just need one that'll give me some length here. And I think that one might do it. I don't know. May not be long enough. I think it is. Let's cut it across. cut this out of here. Okay, we'll put these back. Now, isn't that an interesting piece? You know what? It's kind of cool. I want to trim it down, but not totally take every crooked thing off of it. Kind of crazy. But it's my kind of crazy. Oh, I like it, I like it. Oh. You know what? I think I'll keep it this way on this end, but I think I'll let it overlap the main one. Let's see how that works out once I get some more on that. I need a little wider piece here. I think that's wide enough. Let's go down here. Center that. Center that. And overlap. I like it. I like it. I like it. A little extra stitching there, but isn't it cute? All right, I love this stuff right here, but I want a string of it, really. Take it, I'm going to lay this back, I'm going to start it right about under those colors and run it through like that. This over the top. Okay, that's looking pretty good, pretty good. We'll end him about right there. All right, we need to pull this down some more. Got another seam right there. Got another seam. What are we going to do with that one? What if... Let's see what we can do with this. See if it'll tear. Yep, it does pretty good. Might let him go across. Do I want him to go across or not? This one is... Let's see what we're going to break this up with first. Got a little bit of another one of these long stringy things. Let's get that out. Let it go over the top of that one. Like that. Pin it on this end. And I don't want, that's enough to give it some interest over there. And we don't want any more of that. Let's pull it down some more. Getting to the end here. Okay, I gotta do that, so let's just take this. There's a shorter piece. That's another one of them crazy ones. I think I'll do is just cut it like that. I can use those sides as centerpieces. Let's see. Let's do something a little different here. Let's put a double one on there. I like that. Okay, it's looking good. It's looking good. I like this piece, but it's really dominant. I need to break it up with something. What about one of those little green pieces I just cut off? That will do the trick. I hope you're realizing that this style that I'm doing is the more scrap and diversity, the better looking the quilt. Okay, that's why I say you really can't put too many scraps on this thing. If you know, of course, you can get too many where you can't sew through. I'm not talking that. I'm talking about keeping it very diversified so that nothing, just one thing doesn't jump out at you. Every once in a while, it's okay to have a little more dominant piece, but not, you know, not constantly. Like this one is way too linear and dominant on its own. So we have to break that up, or we just have to. We don't want to cover up that entirely. I need a little stringy thing. Or something just to set in the middle. Or let's see if we can string it. And I do mean string it. Whoa, that one doesn't want to tear. Well, this is one of those little ones that you can just couch over. Do your couching stitch, but it will definitely break up that black and white, yet let enough of it show. We put it in there because we liked it. We don't want to cover it totally up. Okay. But we want to break it up so that it doesn't take center stage. There you go. Blended it right in. We can take a little piece of purple, put it wonky doodled over that intersection. Okay. We've got a little bit of a craziness going on here. What we want to do with that? Let's take this triangle and put him right there. Okay, now can't really come down here until we get this piece in, but this part is ready to stitch, and that's what I will be doing next. Is I'm going to stitch this sashing and do the sashing on the other side, and that will hold the quilt sections that I just put in very strong. Then I'll go back to the batting on the inside. Okay, that's my plan. She's looking beautiful, isn't she? Strips of strings anywhere. She's just looking gorgeous. And she's getting bigger and bigger. Strips, 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 strips everywhere. Okay, put that up. Put that in my little bucket. Okay. Get her all unraveled here. Let me see what we're measuring about right now. We are at 39 inches that direction. And that is the long direction. And remember, I wanted to go somewhere between 44 and 54, making a decision as I go. This is the width. It's at 31. And remember, I wanted it to be around 36. So the next side panel I add on there will make it 34. So I will add another side panel, one or two more length panels, and then I will measure and test it and see what if that's where I want to stop, if that's enough for what I'm envisioning it for. And so just keep on keeping on. There's our next sashing running down through there that I will be sewing. Okay. There's our batting that we're beginning to baste on. Our second layer of batting. Yes, that feels nice. That feels nice. Okay. All right. So, I have been so enjoying all your comments. So many of you are jumping in. You're picking a quilt, or some say you're going to do all three, but you're going to start with a certain one. As you know, I'm doing all three concurrently. So that's going to keep me hopping for this next year, I know. But, as I complete one here, there, and the other. The most popular so far is the strips and string. The second most popular seems to be the circles. And the third, the landscape. But I will be working them concurrently so that I don't know, probably not every week will you get a new video on that particular quilt, but as often as I can throughout the month, I will be posting new videos for each of these so that you can keep up with me and my progress as I go. All right. Okay. Till next time, what are we going to do? We're going to stay so scrap happy, the world is going to envy us. Until next time, take care.